So today we're doing something a little bit different, and instead of making art, we're going to be trying to preserve art, or at least look after it a little bit better. Last year I did a series of chicken paintings, and they were on just loose paper, and since I've finished them, I've just stored them in the watercolour paper pad that I originally got the paper from, and it's been just sitting upright on a shelf, and every time I want to get new paper, I have to flick through the paintings to get a fresh sheet. It's not very good, and over time I'm going to inevitably end up bending some of the paintings or even tearing them, and they're just not stored properly. So I thought I'd do what the museums do and get myself a Solander box. In the past I've worked in a museum, and having seen how they store their works on paper, I thought I'd do a similar thing with my own paintings, just to a smaller degree. So how the museum would store just a work on a piece of paper was that it would lie flat in what's called a Solander box, which is just basically a black box. And if they're just sheets of paper, you could put quite a few within a box, and you usually lay it with tissue paper in between each painting. The idea is to keep them flat, obviously, but also keep them in the dark. And of course they'd be in a stable environment. I can only do so much at home. But I was thinking at least if they're in a dark box that's undisturbed and dust-free, then they're better than what they are currently in. So I thought, hey, let's do what a museum does and store my paintings just like that, properly. So originally I was wanting to buy an A3 size Solander box because I was worried that these paintings were bigger than A4, but looking at the proper handmade boxes, they started at about $200, and I thought that's a bit pricey, especially for just some chicken paintings. So instead I found a $60 one. It's A4 size. I think it's just a bit bigger than A4. It fits these paintings in perfectly, and I don't usually paint any larger than that anyway, so I don't need to go crazy with this. It came in the mail the other day. It's got a nice magnetic clasp on it. It's very stylish, and it's perfect for the paintings. So I've got some acid-free tissue paper as well. Basically what I'm doing is just laying down one of the paintings, putting a sheet of the tissue paper on top, and then the next painting goes on top of that with another piece of tissue paper, and then another painting, and so on. So far there's only 12 of these paintings that I'm storing like this, but there's plenty more space in the box. And because most of my artworks are in sketchbooks instead of just on loose leaf like this, what I will be doing with that tissue paper is just putting it in between every page as well. And once I've done that, depending on the sketchbook, because some are a bit ratty anyway, but some do have some of my favourite paintings in, I'll store that in this Solander box as well, because at least that way they're out of the light and they're just a bit more protected instead of just sitting on a shelf. So why am I doing this? I mean, it's not a big deal that they are just sitting around. I mean, they're not overly special paintings in the grand scheme of things, but there's something that I want to look after for, you know, decades and decades to come. And this way, when they're out of the light, the watercolour is going to be less likely to fade, so that's a good thing. I'm less likely to end up accidentally tearing or denting the page in some way, so that's another good thing. And hopefully where I'm putting the box, the temperature and the humidity won't be too up and down, which is one of the most important things, because high humidity is really not ideal with watercolour, or any other paints really, but yeah, watercolour, as you can imagine. Hopefully this video was of some interest to you. Like I said, it's just a short random little thing, but I thought, hey, why not share it? If you didn't know, I've also just started a Patreon page, or restarted really, but it's there. I've been posting some stuff on there, so if you're interested in getting discounts for my prints and stationery and original paintings and stuff, there's those on there. And I'm also sending out a free print, like a physical print, in the mail for people that sign up to it. And there's other stuff that will be on there too, behind the scenes stuff, all that fun stuff. So if you do want to support me and what I make on here and just in general, then go and have a look at the Patreon page. Also, thank you for 2,000 subscribers. That's awesome. I was thinking of doing a Q&A soon, so if you have any questions, then leave them in the comments below, because that will probably be my next video if there are any questions to answer. And yeah, apart from that, I shall see you again in another video. Bye!